I have a breeding pair of ball pythons whose 3 potential recessive morphs are a big mystery to me. But that mystery might be solved very soon because I have an egg in the incubator. That's right, 1 egg. When I said that the mystery might be solved soon, I was being sarcastic. It's actually highly unlikely. I'll tell you the story after this logo. Oh, we're back. Wow, that's a short logo clip. I was just trying to calculate the odds of that snake being a triple recessive, and my phone's heating up, so... Welcome to the Green Room. I'm Bob Bledsoe. My brother Kent has been off for the last several weeks, but he's back today. Hello. What have you been up to, Kent? Lots of running around, fighting the good fight, you know, staying on mission, getting after it. Playing video games in Mom's basement. Mostly. Impressive. Welcome back. Thanks. So let me tell you about the egg that's in that incubator. This is Molly Malone, the snake who provided that egg, and this is Captain Farrell. He's deep in shed right now, but he is Molly Malone's boyfriend, and he's worked pretty hard the last couple seasons trying to produce some eggs with Molly Malone. This is a much anticipated clutch, and I'll explain why. We're dealing with 3 potential recessive genes here: Ultramel, Pied, and Hypo. Now, the problem is, since this is recessive, these are recessive genes, I'm not going to get too deep into genetics here, but a recessive gene means that for... Nope, I'm not going to explain it that way. Let's try this. For the babies to show up... Nope, that's not the right way to say it either. For a recessive gene to show up visually in the babies, they have to receive 1 copy of the gene from both parents, the mom and the dad. The problem is we don't know if that's even possible with a couple of these morphs. So here's what we do know. Molly Malone is an Ultramel. You can see that visually. That means she has 2 copies of the Ultramel gene. She is 100% het for Pied. That just means that we know for sure that she carries 1 copy of the Pied gene. We also know that there's a 66% chance that she carries 1 copy of the Hypo gene. She either carries it or she doesn't. We don't know for sure, but there's a 66% chance that she does. The good captain here is a Pied. We can see that visually. He is 100% het for Hypo, so we know for sure that he carries the Hypo gene, and there is a 50% chance that he carries the gene for Ultramel. He either carries it or he doesn't, but we don't know. It's a coin toss. I've been very excited to find out what hidden genes these 2 snakes either have or don't have, and I've been planning on finding that out by looking at a whole bunch of slithering babies. Last year, Molly laid a clutch of slugs. That's infertile eggs, so that didn't help at all. This year, she scared me. She laid 1 slug egg in one morning, and I looked in on her, and it didn't look like she was working on laying anymore. So that was pretty scary. I thought she was egg-bound. A snake that's egg-bound that's oftentimes a medical emergency. But 48 hours later, she laid the rest of the clutch. And the rest of the clutch consisted of 2 more slug eggs and 1 egg that looks good. It's got a few veins, not strong, but it's got a few, and it hopefully will incubate and do just fine. So that's why we have 1 egg in the incubator. She laid 4, and only 1 was good. So assuming that egg does well and a snake hatches out of it, here are the possibilities with that 1 snake. So the only morph that we know both snakes have genes for is Pied. We know that Molly Malone is 100% het Pied. Remember, that means that we know for sure that she carries 1 copy of the Pied gene. Captain Farrell is Pied, so he has 2 copies. Without getting too deep into Mendelian genetics and Punnett squares, that just means that the snake has a 50% chance of being a visual Pied. For Ultramel, remember, the captain is either het for it or he's not het for it. If he's not, there's a 0% chance that that baby will crawl out of the egg looking Ultramel. If he is het for it, there's a 50% chance that that baby could be Ultramel. With Hypo, we know 100% that Captain Farrell carries 1 copy of the gene, and there's that 66% chance that Molly Malone does. So she either does or doesn't, right? If she doesn't carry it, there's a 0% chance that that baby will be Hypo. If she does carry the gene, there's a 25% chance, in this case, that the baby will crawl out of the egg Hypo. I'll let somebody else calculate the odds of this snake being a triple visual recessive. My guess is you would have to calculate it assuming that the possible hets are actually 100% het. But anyway, it makes my brain break, so I'm not worried about that. The chances are extremely low. That's what I'll say. The chances are very, very low. It's astronomical. Somebody tell me in the comments what that calculation is, because I don't know how to do it. So if that egg hatches and the baby crawls out of the egg looking either visual ultramel or looking visual hypo, we'll know that the snakes in question are actually het for those morphs. If the snake isn't visual ultramel or hypo, that tells us nothing. That just means that Molly is still 66% het for hypo, and the captain here is still 50% het for ultramel. If they're het, the gene doesn't necessarily make it into the snake. So it only tells us something if we see a visual. It would really help if there were more eggs in this one egg clutch. This clutch of egg. But I don't want to wait another year or 2 or 3 for Molly to give us a good, solid clutch of eggs. So I'm going to have these snakes genetically tested. Yeah, I know. I said a long time ago that I didn't want to do that I wanted to be surprised. But I'm kind of tired of waiting. So watch this. Let me roll this little video clip. I'm so excited because I'm here with Ben from Rare Genetics, or RGI, and you guys do genetics testing. Yep. And I'm super excited to announce a new channel sponsor for Green Room Pythons. Ben, tell me what kinds of things you... By the way, when I say you test for, you're literally the guy that tests for it. You're the scientist behind all this. You've created these tests. Super impressive. I'm talking to a scientist, you guys. Tell me what you test for. What are some of the things?
Yeah, so the first test we came out with in 2017. Since then, we've been testing for sex determination in colubrids. So, you know, all kinds of different king snakes, corn snakes, milk snakes, hognose. We're able to, just from the shed skin, we extract the DNA and do a test and can tell you if it's a boy or a girl.
That's just in colubrids?
That's in colubrids, and now, more recently, we're able to do it in ball pythons. And we're working on it in some lizard species, like we want to do blue tongues and monitors, a few others. But right now it's colubrids and ball pythons for sex determination.
So this is interesting. So whatever it is that you're looking at, I have no idea how that works. You don't have to explain it, but it doesn't. Once you set it for ball pythons, it doesn't work for other pythons.
No, sometimes. So like in colubrids, they're similar enough. We can test many species. But with pythons, like we tried it in blood pythons and Burmese and retics, and the test in the ball python doesn't work in the others.
That's really
interesting.
We
have to do another test.
Wow. Okay, those of you with ball pythons, and I have a feeling there's a few of you watching this, did you name your animal appropriately? Did you misgender your animal? They can test and see. Also, how many, do you know off the top of your head how many different morphs you're able to test for?
Yeah, so we have currently available right now, I think it's 33, when this comes out, 33, 34 different ball python morphs. So that's just in the last year and a half we've been able to start doing that.
You know what? As we're doing this, I'm gonna scroll the list. We're scrolling the list right now.
And I would also want to give credit. There's some people in academics that have helped find some of these mutations. It's really cool to see that. Being in academics, I actually started keeping ball pythons specifically before I became a scientist. But I love seeing that come together. And now there's some people in academics that see the opportunity to be able to learn about color and pattern and the genetics behind that, and ball python is an awesome model to do that.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that taking place.
That's really cool. Ben, thanks so much, man.
Thank
you. It's really nice to be partnered with you guys. I'm very excited to be working with RGI. See, that's why people are better than snakes. You can't even tell by looking at it whether it's a girl or a boy. Well, you don't need a piece of my skin to tell that I'm a boy. All you need to do is look at my beard. I was gonna say beard. Still not a strong point, but I'm just gonna ask you to stop talking. Fine. I'm a boy. So let me tell you how this works while we scroll the Horde of Keepers over on Patreon. With this shed that Captain Farrell's working on, I'm going to clip a piece of that shed about the size of a quarter, and I'll send that to RGI. Molly Malone is not in shed right now, and I don't know when she's going to go into shed, so what I'm going to do for her is just clip a little bit of a belly scale and send that in. There's a quick video on YouTube from RGI on how to clip belly scales. Right now there's 2 vendors that you can go through for RGI shed testing. That's Morph Market or Clutch. And for either one, you just go to their website and you click on shed testing, and it takes you through the easy process of ordering the shed test, and then you send in your shed or belly clip. It's a really easy process. Thanks so much to the Horde of Keepers who keep this channel going. If you're interested in joining that community or just finding out what benefits you get for joining that community. You can find information on that at patreon.com/greenroompythons. And as always, thanks to our channel sponsors, 4 of them now, Black Box Cages, Lane Labs, The Royals Project, and RGI. Now, Kata here is also in shed right now, and I think I'm going to use that shed to send to RGI as well, because some of you may know that we've got some genetics questions for Kata. Because she's an ivory, she's hiding what possible incomplete dominant or dominant genes she has. Now, there are also some questions as to genetic problems that she might have, because we had that problem clutch. There's a video right here about that, or maybe right here. But right before I started filming this video, I finally heard back from the breeder that I bought her from. He had 1 clutch of eggs from her, and when I got Kata several years ago, that clutch was just in the incubator. So I've been trying to find out if that clutch was healthy or not. He finally got back to me. Apparently it was a healthy clutch, which means if that's the case, that what I suspected is true, that it was probably just incubation error. But the point being, I'm going to use Kata's shed, I think, to send into RGI, and we'll find out what genes she has other than being an ivory. So right now the testing includes a whole bunch of morphs for ball pythons, and then sex testing for ball pythons and a number of the most common colubrids. I know that they're working on adding other snakes, I think boas and more colubrids, probably other species of python. This video is going to come out and just sit on YouTube for a long time, so if you're watching this in the future, anytime in the future, because they're always adding new stuff, the best thing is to check and see what they've added and what you can send in and get tested for. So shed testing is obviously a game changer for breeders who want to find out what hidden genes their snakes either do or don't have. But I'm guessing there's probably more than a handful of you out there who would love to get a definitive answer on whether you have a boy or girl snake. And for a little bit of shed and $25, you can get that answer. So there will be future updates on the results of these shed tests. I'll share those with you. There will also be updates on my clutch of egg in the incubator. Thanks for watching. See you next week.